We'll call the meeting to order, 7:02. Everyone, please rise. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Here.
Fournier.
Here.
Goodnow.
Here.
Hammond.
Here.
Crop.
Here.
Menser.
Here.
Voorhees.
Here.
Okay. Agenda item 4, announcements, acknowledgements, communications, and reports. We have under item 4A, the monthly department reports from community development, public services, utilities, fires, social media, and our parking stickers sold. Revenue and expenditure, and then goals and objectives are also listed. Let's go for the monthly department reports first. Does anyone have any comments or questions about those reports? Commissioner Menzer.
I think I would like to ask at some point, and somebody can agree or disagree, but with a workshop to talk about blight and how blight is handled, what the timeframes are for blight. You know, when you get a ticket, you know, you have how many days to fix it, and what, you know, if you have a second ticket, then what happens? I don't think we're all 100% versed on exactly what happens when there is a citation. So I would like to learn that process a little bit better, and I would like to see a workshop coming up for just explanatory purposes.
So you're asking for the actual process of how,
Yes.
when something happens,
Yes.
this is this and this is the
Yes.
procedure. Okay.
Does somebody want to concur with me?
I concur. I would really like to have that workshop, and I would like to take it a step farther, is what qualifies as blight, and how do we've all cited certain areas, or not areas, but certain things that are not necessarily done fairly, or in our minds anyway, okay? I think we need to talk about who gets a citation, how it's working, how we go out and enforce these ordinances fairly across the whole city.
Thank you for concurring. Thank you, Commissioner Hammond and Commissioner Goodenow. And you know, part of this stems from, there was a lot of rumor, gossip, and innuendo over Facebook, over who gets cited, who doesn't get cited, how, you know, the citing works. And reading that stuff, 3/4 of it was false and inflammatory and absolutely not true. And I think that we need to nip that in the bud, and for us to help with that by learning the timelines and the process, so that when this kind of rumor, gossip, and innuendo comes up, that we can help combat some of that. Because it doesn't help when all this crap is out there and we don't respond to it. So, anyway, thank you, everybody, thank you.
I'm just taking a note here, sorry. Okay. All right, does anybody have any further questions about any of the department reports? Okay. Our revenue and expenditure report under B, do you have anything further to say, Mr. Johnson, on that one?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and the goals and objectives status, so does anybody have any questions on those two?
I am waiting for the workshop on that, on the goals and objectives status. I think we do need to discuss this. Again, numbering systems can mean different things to different people, but we need to look at where we think those are. And we've talked about having a workshop on that before.
Didn't we just,
We just had two.
Need another one.
okay.
We didn't specifically look at the goals and objectives status. We
No,
talked
looked-
about
we looked
changing.
at changing the goals and objectives.
Yes.
Okay. Well, because we should also be having a workshop on capital improvement specifically.
Absolutely.
So, and that would fall
That
under
would-
that as well, so. All right, lots of workshops. Commissioner Campbell will be thrilled. Moving on to adoption of the agenda. I'll entertain a
Mayor
motion.
Crop, I move that we approve the agenda as printed.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
This is the portion of the meeting where we allow the public to participate. All that we ask is that you come to the microphone, give us your name, your full name, and your residential address, and you abide by our 3-minute rule. We also allow the public to participate via Zoom. If you would like to participate while on our Zoom call, we ask that you raise your hand, and we will address the Zoom call after the people who are in person speak. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the commission? Come on up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Spencer Calhoun. I live at 235 Cass Avenue in Mount Clemens. And I wanted to thank everyone. I want to thank specifically Commissioner Hammond for coming to the Juneteenth event that we had the other day at Greater Morningstar. And I'm happy to say that we were able to get 3 people actually registered to vote. And there's a group of young people who are going around Mount Clemens and Clinton Township, and we're trying to get people registered to vote for the upcoming election. Of course, you can check the box and absentee vote. You can get the ballot sent to your home for future elections. So we're trying to get people aware of that because it's really important people get out and vote. So I just wanted to let everyone know about that, and thank everyone who came to the Juneteenth event.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission? You have one on Zoom? Is there anyone else in person? Okay. Who do we have on Zoom?
Okay, we have Beverly. Beverly, can you hear me? Go for it. Beverly, can you hear me? You can call on Beverly. Beverly Bishop.
Hello, I'm Bev Bishop. Can you hear me?
We can now.
Great. I'm Beverly Bishop. I'm from 54 Kendrick in Mount Clemens, a 40-year person here in Mount Clemens. And I just wanted to let you know that after a year of not having any meetings, the Historical Commission is reinvented as of January and had 5 meetings this year. Also, for that whole year, there were no markers, no meetings, and it occurred that we have now got 2 vacancies and no chairman. And I think we need to have that remedied and probably your help. And so I wanted to let you know that there is something very exciting from this commission, however. And I want you to see this wonderful Mount Clemens historic plaque. I see it as a mirror image. Can you see it correctly?
I think
can't.
we can't see any images, sorry.
Oh, you can't see me or my images?
Nope, sorry.
Oh, darn it. I put lipstick on. Okay. Well, I just wanted you to know that we did have markers placed last week, and they were at South Highland, Gallup, Lodwick, Crocker, and South Wilson. So I can honestly say this is happening all over the city of Mount Clemens, that these markers are going up. They are joining the already 300 that are attached to homes. And we're trying to develop a complete census of those markers and probably encourage the many other homes that don't have the markers to get them. They are $100. The commission asks that you make out the application, leave it at the city, that's the process. Then Brian Tingley, who has been a great liaison, follows it up with the committee, and then it is looked over and approved if all the data is correct. Which we really need to know that this is a great deal, $100. This has not increased in probably 20 years, at least since 1987, when I bought one of my first plaques. So let me just tell you that if you went to the Michigan Historical Society, you would pay $395 for a very similar plaque, same size, same manufacturer, but you would get a note suitable for framing, which we could do. But we have a lot of room to do it and a really good price on ours. So please promote it. please let people know where to get the application off the website. And we'll have more to tell you at future meetings. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on Zoom who would like to?
George Kell might be ready, but he doesn't have his hand raised, so you can call on.
Okay, go ahead, George.
Thank you, Mayor Kropp. Am I coming across loud and clear?
You're a little muffled. If you can maybe speak a little bit louder.
Thank you. That's usually not been my problem as far as speaking too loud. Is that a little better?
A little bit, yep, that's good.
Great. I was just going to comment in regard to the item in the general business section on 9A on the marijuana business ordinance, strongly encouraging the commission to, of course, the city commission to take control of the decision-making process. I believe the city manager did a great job in outlining the reasons why the city commission should get more involved. Once we have a fully transparent method in place, we'll be able to, of course, move forward with our marijuana business ordinance in a proper fashion. Other than that, look forward to seeing you at the next meeting, and I was going to also try to find out what that next topic is. I think it's going to be on permits, and I would like to also strongly encourage that we continue with the medical marijuana facility licensing act that we opted into, so that some potential future applicants, if any, that may want to tie into the Bath City theme and the minerals on a health and wellness type of play with the medical marijuana. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and close public participation. Agenda item number 7, administrative responses to issues or questions raised during the previous meeting.
There were none.
Don't have any. We'll go ahead to approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the city commission work session and regular city commission meeting minutes for June 7th, 2021.
Support.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Agenda item 9A, discuss proposed marijuana business ordinance. I'll entertain a motion to open the discussion. So we won't use the recommended motion that's written at this time. We just need a motion to open the discussion.
I make a motion to open the discussion about proposed medical, or proposed marijuana business ordinance.
Thank you.
Support.
Perfect. Roll call, please.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Okay, so now we can go ahead and discuss, although we just did,
I think you need Mr. Johnson first.
Yep, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. I'd like to continue discussing the 4 significant areas the city attorney identified in his cover letter for the marijuana business ordinance. We started this 2 weeks ago on June 7th when we discussed whether the proposed ordinance should allow outdoor growing if it's adopted. At that time, the commission voted not to allow outdoor growing in the proposed ordinance. For tonight, I'd like to see the discussion focus on the question of who will approve permit applications. Under our existing ordinance, that's done by a committee called the Medical Marijuana Facilities Committee, and it consists of the city manager or his or her designee, the community development director, and the city clerk. The city commission is actually not officially involved in the process at all. The city attorney's draft of the marijuana business ordinance eliminates the committee and has the city commission making the decision based on information and recommendations provided by the city manager. Mr. Murray indicates one of his reasons for this change is to eliminate potential Open Meetings Act challenges based on the Act's requirement that all decisions made by a public body must be made at a public meeting. And of course, I think you're all aware that we were sued over just that exact issue, and we're forced to basically redo a meeting. But I'd like to also add that I think any decisions related to marijuana permits and licenses are going to be very controversial and very important. And I think they really should not be made by a staff committee. I think they should be made by the city commission. So the recommended motion is to have the city commission be the decision maker.
Okay, what,
I, for
Does everyone
one,
feel that?
think that it's fine. And the reason that we didn't have the city commission, it was recommended to us at that time that we don't have the city commission make those decisions. But given all the activity since then, the legal activity, the Open Meetings Act problems, the just all of the heightened awareness of everything, I agree with Mr. Murray's and Mr. Johnson's recommendations.
yes.
I disagree. I disagree. I think that there should be a committee, and it should be a business person from the city, a resident, a commissioner, somebody from the DDA, and the community development director. And I think they should make the recommendation to commission, and it gives commission the opportunity, just like with the planning committee, when they come up with a zoning change or an addition, they make the recommendation to the commission, and the commission makes the decision. So I would like to continue to see a committee, and then the committee make the recommendation to the city commission, and then the city commission make the final decision.
So you still would like the city commission to make the final decision, unlike it was in the medical marijuana?
Yes, but I think a committee should make a recommendation to the commission.
I'm not sure I agree. I think that having one resident out of the entire city doesn't necessarily represent all residents.
And one
so
business
then you're
person.
going, which resident are you going to pick to,
And what type of business?
and what type of business, it matters as well. And so we'd have a hard time getting fair representation. I think that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Didn't Warren try something like that, and it was like a complete debacle?
Warren had 11 lawsuits. Their committee applied the ordinance and scored it improperly on a number of committee members. And they're still fighting in Warren over the recreational as well as the medical. Just to refresh, the medical marijuana ordinance, the draft that was brought to the commission, and it was made clear by the commission that they didn't want any part of making the decision-making, and the first draft had the city manager to make the decisions. And commissioners indicated to that they didn't like one person having that authority, and that's how we ended up with the 3-member committee. We added the clerk and the community development director. The reason for the current draft is that when you have committees, you get into the entire Open Meetings Act process. And that's what occurred. We got sued, and one of the claims was violation of the Open Meetings Act. Every other municipality in the state got sued as well that had any kind of ordinance that involved committees, and nobody thought that they would have to be subject to the Open Meetings Act. That's essentially how all this litigation happened. If the manager is making the recommendations, he can utilize staff, obviously, and any other resources he wants to utilize. But the law on the Open Meetings Act is that one person cannot constitute a public body. Therefore, you don't, every time he discusses it with somebody, you don't have to post it, you don't have to go through.
discussing it with all the commissioners.
Well, sure, when
Yeah.
he brings it to.
Right.
Anything brought here obviously is in an open meeting.
Sure.
So that's the rationale behind this proposal. And I agree with Mr. Johnson. I think you've seen, we have been pretty fortunate in terms of litigation in that we didn't suffer any consequences as a result. But throughout the state, the litigation's just been phenomenal, and it will continue. Whatever process is developed, whatever formula is used, the people that do not get selected will be suing. That's just the way it is. There's no fail-proof way to do it, but I agree that I think it is that important that the commission ought to make the final decisions.
Any other further discussion? Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Oh, no,
Oh, sorry. I'll entertain a new motion for the,
I move the proposed marijuana business ordinance, if adopted, should provide for a decision approving permit applications be made by the city commission.
Support.
any further discussion or questions on that motion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Goodnow.
Yeah.
Hammond.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
No.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Okay, agenda item 9B, approve the UAW dial-a-ride drivers and dispatchers contract. I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the proposed July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2024 agreement between the City of Mount Clemens, Michigan and the International Union, United Automobile, Aerospace, and Agricultural Implement Workers of America, UAW Local 155, Mount Clemens Community Transportation, and to authorize execution of the same.
Support.
Support. That was a mouthful. All right.
Mayor Kropp, I have a question.
Yes.
It seems to me that every labor contract that comes before us has always been in an executive session. And I believe that when you're dealing with contracts and people's wages, that those discussions need to be held in an executive session and not in the general public.
I agree.
We can always,
There
just
were-
so people know, you can request that before, when you get the agenda and you see it's not, we can definitely request that to be a change in the agenda. So,
Then I would like to make an amended motion, and I would like to table this discussion until we can schedule it for an executive session.
is there support?
I'll
Support.
support it.
Go ahead.
Support, Kim?
If they want to.
We can do it tonight.
Should we at least explain why we didn't have an executive session, Mr. Johnson?
Didn't think it was necessary.
Is that something that, do you want to change your motion to have it tonight? And amend the agenda to do it tonight?
Is that good with you, Mr. Murray?
That's fine. You've got to put it,
All right,
We
then
would
put
make
it
it
at the end of the
Agenda item
agenda.
14.
Yeah, move it to,
So go ahead, you want to make that motion?
Yeah.
the end, go into executive
So
session.
it would be,
Should be agenda
14.
item 14, yeah.
all right, then I amend my motion to table it and amend it to move agenda item 9B to agenda item 14, executive session.
For the reason to discuss
Collective bargaining
collective bargaining agreement.
negotiations.
Okay,
To discuss collective bargaining negotiations.
okay. All right, does we have do you still support Mr. Commissioner Voorhees?
Yes.
Okay. And any questions or discussion on that? Okay, roll call, please.
Hammond.
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Okay, agenda item C, approve election worker pay increase. I will entertain a motion.
I move to increase fees for the election inspectors from $140 to $165 per day. The AVCB inspectors from $125 to $150 per day. The election chairpersons from $175 to $200 per day. And the AVCB chairpersons from $150 to $200 per day effective July 1, 2021.
Support.
Any questions or discussion on this?
He needs to do the motion.
I'm sorry, go ahead and
Or
read it.
Kathy does.
Or Kathy can read it, yes.
Thank you. The mayor took my stuff.
I know.
Okay, election workers are paid a daily fee for working on election day. This fee is currently $140 for election inspectors, $125 for absent voter counting board inspectors, $175 for election chairpersons, and $150 for AVCB chairpersons. Election workers have always been subjected to long, grueling days, but now they're faced with working in a dangerous political climate, as well as exposing themselves to deadly diseases such as COVID-19. As a result, it's getting more difficult to attract and retain workers, and most municipalities have found it necessary to increase the pay of these crucial positions. It's quite possible to lose our existing workers to neighboring communities with better pay rates, as Michigan election workers are permitted to work for any municipality in the state regardless of residency. I am therefore requesting that the City Commission consider an increase in election worker pay for election inspectors from $140 to $165 for the day, AV Counting Board inspectors from $125 to $150 for the day, election chairpersons from $175 to $200 for the day, and AV chairpersons from $150 to $200 for the day. This proposed increase would equate to an additional $1,025 for non-presidential elections and an additional $1,300 for presidential elections. And this proposed increase has already been included in the approved 2021 to 2022 fiscal year budget.
Now, does anyone have any questions or discussion?
I think, I was an election chairperson for precinct number 8, Clinton Township, for years. And I can tell you, it's very grueling, it's very hard. No matter what you do, somebody is unhappy. Residents come in without the proper, forms and information, and you have to stop people from discussing candidates in line and keep people from, more than 100 feet from the polls. It is a very, very busy day, and it is a very long day, and it is a very thankless day. So I think these wage increases are definitely needed, and quite frankly, I would have voted for more.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yep.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Agenda item 9D, approve revisions to the strategic plan. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to accept the attached revised strategic plan.
Support.
Mr. Johnson?
We've had 2 work sessions on May 3rd and 7th to consider minor revisions to the strategic plan. These have been incorporated into the 2 attached documents. The first is a red line version, and the second is a clean copy version. In summary, the changes first dealt with capital improvement needs. We left update the city's capital improvement plan in place, but we added within that, establish priorities, include cost estimates, and link to the 5-year budget. And we eliminated the list of individual buildings. The next one we made a change to was keep Mount Clemens safe and clean for all residents and visitors. And we eliminated enforce existing ordinances and residential and commercial, and replace them with improve enforcement of the property maintenance code and study alternative approaches to dealing with blight. And finally, we identified some objectives for number 6, which is identify strategies for making Mount Clemens more inclusive. These are now engage the community in a welcoming and safe environment for everyone, regardless of race, gender, religion, sex, age, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. Acknowledge cultural celebrations and holidays approved by the City Commission. And finally, actively use our website and social media to promote diversity and inclusiveness. Those were the only changes.
Did we also mention that it should be noted that the 2 work sessions are not intended to replace the full strategic planning session, so we will do that in the fall.
That's my intent, yes.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions or discussions on this one? No? Okay, roll call, please.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop.
Yes. 9E, approve placement of special assessments for delinquent utility and general billings on the tax roll. Need a motion?
I move the Mount Clemens City Commission approves the special assessment rolls 20-02 and 20-03 for delinquent billings and placement on the city tax roll for 2021.
Support.
Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. This is something we do every year. Prior to the summer tax billing, we put delinquent utility bills and delinquent general bills onto the tax roll. This year, we've got a total of just over $65,000 in delinquent utility bills and a little bit less than $62,000 in general billings.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Johnson?
No, but it's interesting to look at our downtown businesses and which ones are delinquent.
Anyone else? Okay, roll call, please.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Agenda item 9F, approve enterprise master lease agreement. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the attached enterprise fleet management master equity lease agreement and addendums.
Support.
Mr. Johnson?
Actually, this one's going to be Mr. Wood.
The city administration had been evaluating different ways to manage the city's fleet due to the shortcomings in the motor pool budget. When we were approached by Enterprise Fleet Management with an opportunity to lease instead of purchase, which saves the city that capital expense of purchasing vehicles. So, and creates a purchase possibility at the end of that lease agreement, or we can sell the vehicles and the city would reap the equity because those vehicles would still be purchased under the MyDeal contract. So at this time, we haven't selected vehicles that will be brought to the city commission at a later date. So at this time, we're requesting that the agreement and amendments be.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Wood? Yep, Commissioner Menser.
So right now, you're looking at 2 vehicles for this year?
Yes.
And there's a line in here that says an equity lease has no early termination, over mileage, or abnormal wear and tear penalties.
Correct.
So I find that very intriguing because that's certainly not the case with my vehicle.
Right. I'm in the same boat.
And I had a hard time putting the math together where it said that they're projecting the city of Mount Clemens will save almost $128,000 over the next 10 years. Because I was kind of looking at those figures. If you're talking $11,000 a month, I'm sorry, $1,100 a month times 60 months, you got $66,000. And according to their figures for, I don't have my glasses on, but it says annual net cost per vehicle of $3,545. You take that, times 12, that's $395. So is Enterprise making $395 per vehicle per month?
I'm not sure exactly what they would be making. The idea is at the end of the lease, if we went with a five-year program, the idea is that we would turn that lease vehicle back in, and they would sell it on the city's behalf, and the city would gain that equity, in essence, be selling it for more than what the vehicle would be purchased for.
It
They
almost
would
sounds
keep-
too good to be true.
Yeah.
Almost.
Mhm.
That's why we want to kind of dip our toe in this and just do it with 2 vehicles right now.
Sounds good. So these would just be examples of the vehicles that you would.
It would
might
just be
use.
the pickups at this point.
The
That,
pickups.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
DPW.
don't do like the dump trucks or anything like that.
So for example, the fire station, I think they had mentioned their vehicle is 12 years old and not in the best
Yeah,
shape.
they were looking for an SUV though.
Yeah.
But this
yeah.
is just pickup trucks and trucks?
In essence, yeah, it's light-duty trucks, so
Okay.
nothing heavy-duty.
Jeff, what's the aging on the pickup trucks now, and how many do we have?
I don't know off of the top of my head, but we go.
6 or 8, probably?
Pickup trucks?
I think we have more than
Oh,
that.
no, we have probably 20,
20.
Yeah.
yeah.
And what's the aging?
They
on them?
range from the 80s to, I think the newest is 2017, 18.
So it's time.
Yeah.
Some of them look pretty tough.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like the blight inspector.
Yeah.
That almost could be considered blight.
Yes.
Did you by any chance reach out to
It's
like
got a lot of rust.
Harrison or any of these other communities and see how they fared with them?
I did. I have talked with Harrison Township, and they're excited about it. They have some of the same problems that we were having with a wide range of vehicles from 40 years old, right? So they were excited to get new vehicles as well, and they haven't gone through. They are relatively new, so they haven't gone through that whole sales process in it yet, but. So.
And Mr. Murray, I wasn't very clear, do we have an out?
Well, the out you have, they recognize in one of the addendums that that a current commission cannot bind subsequent commissions in certain contractual matters. So they do recognize in the addendum that if there were a subsequent commission who wanted to opt out of this, they could.
Well, they'd have to do it through what they call funding.
Yeah, through the funding
Through not
process,
having money.
they wouldn't allocate the monies in the budget to perform.
And would Enterprise have any recourse if we decided that we did, if the commission, say in November, when 3 seats are up, or 4 seats, including the mayor's, is there any mechanism for, well, I guess, I think you could.
They would have a mechanism, obviously, to take back the vehicles. They wouldn't be without any remedy. They would have a remedy. But that's the only out,
Okay.
is through the funding process.
And we don't have to put this out to bid or anything like that?
No.
Because we're actually using the state bid in this case.
Ah,
Well, I have found through purchasing for the county that the My Deal is usually a very good program and really is, you know, cost savings for all the things that we buy. We utilize that for pretty much everything, and we buy a lot, county buys a lot of fleet vehicles through the My Deal program.
And that's where we've bought through the past.
Right.
Anyone else? Further questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Agenda item 9G, approved budget amendments. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to increase the 2021 general fund budget for public safety by $130,839 and to reduce the budget for transfers out and other uses by the same amount.
Support.
Mr. Johnson?
This is Mr. Mason's report.
Yes, it is. Yeah, this is a kind of a it's not an unusual request, but it's different that the budget itself is going to end up in the year in very favorable condition. But we do have one function in public safety that's over budget. And under the State Budgeting Act, we have to cover through council to amend it to increase the budget so that it's not over budget by the end of the year. But like I said, overall, the budget, we started the year with an anticipated $832,000 decrease. It looks like right now that we're going to finish this budget with almost a $1 million favorable ending. But we have to pass this amendment in order to stay within the Budgeting Act. So, in a short summary, that's, you know, really good news in the long run. And last, real quick, I was talking with Plant Moran prior to coming in. We're going to begin the audit in person in October, so no Zoom audit, which is nice. And I said I have one request, that we'll have this audit in front of the council the first week in December. I said that's the most important thing we want to do. And they believe by coming back in person and conducting the audit, now we may have one negative on that, and that'd be the single audit, single budget. I'll explain council later on to that. Our audit may increase if we have to go through the single audit. And we're still doing calculations on that, whether or not we're going to have to. So, but with that, we should have this audit for this fiscal year in front of council, the first meeting in December.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Mason?
So, yes, it explains here in the last paragraph that this is for public safety for the fire department to exceed the budget by the $138,839. Will this cover both the chief and the inspector?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're all set.
Anyone else? Other questions? Okay. Roll call, please.
Fournier.
Yes.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Agenda item 9H, approved charter amendment proposal increasing purchasing limit. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to adopt the attached charter amendment resolution.
Support.
Go ahead.
Finance Director Mason and I would like to pursue a charter amendment to change the purchasing limit in section 10.211 for purchases without obtaining bids from $1,500 to $15,000. The reason for this is that the current purchasing limit's outdated and no longer practical. The $1,500 amount was actually a ballot issue before the voters in August of 1990. It's, we think, much too low today. The bid process can be a very time-consuming and expensive procedure. We must pay people, employees or consultants, to prepare or revise specifications and to manage the bid opening and award process. Using it for relatively small purchases like this drives up costs. It does not save money as it was intended to do. Information provided by the Michigan Municipal League shows municipal purchasing limits are all over the map. We see the bulk of them in the $5,000 to $20,000 range. Some of them go as high as $50,000. They only showed one that was less than ours, it was 1,000. We think 15,000 is a reasonable number that will result in a more efficient, cost-effective procurement process. Amending the city charter requires an affirmative vote by the majority of electors at a regular or special election. Before a charter amendment can be placed on the ballot, the process starts with a resolution approved by at least 3/5 of the members of the city commission, which is 5. And that resolution has to include the proposed ballot language. That language then needs to be reviewed by the Michigan Attorney General and must be approved by the Michigan Governor. And then, when it's been returned to us with those approvals to get it on the November 2021 ballot, it must be submitted to the Macomb County Chief Election Clerk by August 12th, 2021. So, what we've got before you tonight is the first step in this process.
Okay, questions, comments, concerns?
I would just like to know how you arrived at the $15,000 figure.
Somewhat arbitrary. Cliff and I discussed it, and that's a number that we came up with.
I would just add that the Attorney General's office and the Governor's office indicate that they, I talked to George Elworth Friday, who is the person in the Attorney General's office who runs everything related to elections and language, etc. And they attempt to complete their review and notify the municipality within 30 days of receiving it. That's what their goal is. However, if there is anything that has to be corrected or they find objectionable, we may not meet the August 12th deadline. The Attorney General looks at, their office looks at the ballot language to make sure that it is neutral, impartial, etc. The Governor's office looks at the ballot proposal as to legality, whether it's unconstitutional what you're proposing, things of that nature. The Governor's office, the Governor can not approve it, but the municipality can override the Governor and put it on the ballot by a 2/3 vote. That doesn't happen too often, but that is available. But I just want to point out, we have already prepared the letters to the Attorney General and to the Governor's office, and they will be emailed tomorrow morning, assuming you approve the resolution, because we don't want to lose any time. We're kind of on a short leash.
Let me add something, because of experience I've seen in the past, I've had them object to other language that was not within the charter, that was not the language being amended, and refuse to allow it to go on the ballot unless we change the other language as well.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the last one we did in the city was over the millage increase, and they sent, the Attorney General's office sent that back because the language in our ballot proposal and our resolution said that it would be put on the ballot for such and such a date, primary election. And they said, oh no, you can't do that, it has to be a special election. So we had to make that change, bring it back before the commission and send it back to them. But like the manager said, you can't anticipate. Hopefully this should not be a big deal for them. You know, it's a rather modest charter amendment. It's not anything earth-shattering.
They can surprise you with what they came up with. I did one before just to change the makeup of the retirement board. The retirement board. The city manager was required to be on the retirement board. We wanted to add or designee. They objected that there were city commissioners on the retirement board.
The process sounds worse than just the number of 1,500 to 15,000.
Right, yeah. Right.
But it certainly, to me, makes makes total sense to raise that number. 1,500 is ridiculously low.
You can hardly buy an
in this
Apple
day,
iPhone
yeah.
for that.
So, and 15,000 is, it's kind of in the ballpark and of most, and not at the top end, which I do like. So I have no problem with it. Makes sense.
Anyone else? Okay. Roll call, please.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to approve the MDOT annual permit performance resolution. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve and adopt the attached performance resolution for the Michigan Department of Transportation and to authorize Jeffrey D. Wood to make application for the necessary permits.
Support. Mr. Wood will be presenting this one.
The attached resolution is required by the Michigan Department of Transportation for purposes of issuing the City of Mount Clemens an annual application and permit for miscellaneous operations within the state trunk line highway, which is Gratiot. It further authorizes myself to make application to the Michigan Department of Transportation for the permits to work within the right-of-way, as well as any road closures such as for the fireworks, which is how this came about, so, but
That doesn't also include Groesbeck?
no,
Just
that's,
Gratiot?
the county maintains
Okay.
Groesbeck.
Anyone else? Okay, roll call, please.
Hammond.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Agenda item 9J, approve purchases and payments of invoices.
Move to approve purchases and payment of invoices as presented.
Support.
Anybody have any questions, comments?
I would like to know, we have a memorandum here that says High Tech recently conducted a network analysis and provided a detailed list of items and projects to be considered. What analysis did they perform and what deficiencies did they find? That's my question.
Well, they recommended the equipment that is shown, included replacing a server, which was very old, a significant increase in the security of the system, including the disaster recovery system, and an update to the wireless network, which would give centralized control to the wireless network.
And so do you have a list of deficiencies that's gonna require this, almost $42,000, $849 cent,
We have the list that's in front of you.
this doesn't explain, this is just a list, it doesn't explain what the deficiencies are. And so I'm having a hard time reconciling spending $42,000 when I don't know what the deficiencies are, other than they say, we need a new server. There's no report on the network analysis to tell us what they found as deficient in our system to make us spend $42,000.
We don't have our technology coordinator here, do we? Is she on the line?
Jennifer's supposed to be on via Zoom. She couldn't be here tonight because of a family emergency.
Jennifer, can she hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Okay. Hello.
Go ahead.
So the question was, what are the deficiencies? It's not deficiencies, it's a matter of aging equipment that we would like to replace prior to it going down. more like a preventative maintenance type thing. What it was is they conducted the analysis for budgeting purposes for us. And when they presented this quote, this was for us to be able to budget for these upcoming expenses. However, Cliff, Mr. Mason, Mr. Johnson, and I met with High Tech, went over all of the items that would be beneficial to upgrade now, and decided that because we had the money in the current budget, we could take advantage of this opportunity to replace these items prior to them becoming a problem.
So this list of items are all supposed to be upgraded from what we have now?
Correct. There are 3 workstations that are in desperate need of upgrading. There are multiple servers that are in need of upgrading. The only things that are not necessary currently would be the backup recovery. That is something we'd like to do, but not necessary. And there is the Wi-Fi upgrade, which also is not necessary, but our Wi-Fi is not the best, our Wi-Fi network.
And since many people had trouble connecting today, we experienced that.
So those are included in there, in the 42 right now?
Mhm.
I think 42,
Correct.
when you look at all the,
Stuff.
yeah, everything that's included, I think it's very reasonable, and I think we need to
And-
stay up on top of this stuff before it does get too old and.
Well, and I'm happy to see the security aspect of it, because I don't know if any of you have received emails from me that look like they're from my email that say that apparently I want you to purchase gift cards, and so someone's actually hacking my email and using phishing scams, all this stuff. So, I mean, it's obvious there are things happening that we could use extra security, so I'm happy to see that.
We
And
see
that is-
various phishing scams all the time here.
Yeah, I don't know if
And-
we can-
And unfortunately, several have involved allegedly using the mayor's email address. It's not actually really coming from her email address.
Right.
It's coming from another email address, but it still says it's Laura Kropp.
Yeah.
This is
There
included
have
in the
also-
budget, right? This
This
is
is
provided
included
for
in the current budget, yes.
Thank you, Jennifer, Ms. Delotti, for the response.
You're welcome.
I have one question for Jennifer. Jennifer, are you looking to do this all at once or at different times? Is it needed, all of it needed now?
It is not all needed now, no, but we're hoping to be able to do it now because we do have the funding available in the current budget.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Agenda item 10, consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop.
Yes. Agenda item 11, city manager's report. Mr. Johnson.
Okay, COVID-19, everything is continuing to fall. For the last 14 days prior to June 16th, cases in Michigan were down 46%, hospitalizations were down 45%, and deaths were down over 15%. The mask mandate, when this was written, was set to expire July 1st, but the governor made that a little bit earlier, and I didn't write down the date for that.
Tomorrow.
Tonight at midnight.
Anyone 12 or older can get a COVID vaccine. I put the link in there for Macomb County Vaccine Central, so then you might can look that up. Fireworks will be back on June 25th, that's Friday. Rain date is the next day, Saturday the 26th. In addition to the riverbank, the county property northeast of the courthouse is available for seating. The boat docks will be available at no charge on a first-come, first-served basis. We will not be taking reservations. We do have the electric service and water service at the docks repaired, and both will be turned on for the fireworks evening. They're not being left on an ongoing basis. Ice arena pre-installation for the new compressors has been completed. We anticipate delivery in the next couple of weeks. A temporary portable compressor will maintain the ice while the old compressors are removed and new ones installed. The new rubber flooring is already installed, as is the alarm system. The mayor, Nikki Weiss, and I met last week, with the organizers of the 2023 Regional Airstream Travel Trailer Rally about the possibility of hosting the event in Uptown Clemens. This will be a 4-day event, and they expect it would feature about 125 Airstream trailers. Then we've got the list of future agenda items. Of significance on that, marijuana business ordinance discussion for the next meeting on July 6th. The topic is number of permits, and the topic for the 19th is on premises consumption, micro businesses, and temporary events. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Yes.
I have two questions. I'm curious of what budget or whose budget is the charges for the electric service and water service that the Bud Doc's coming out of? Because there will be electrical costs for that.
Jeff, can you answer that?
Yeah, it typically comes out of the Parks and Recs budget.
Okay. Thank you. And I had a complaint over the weekend about the BSNA system and the fact that people still aren't able to pay their water bills online. And I know there's been problems with the BSNA website, so has that been resolved?
Commissioner, I'm not aware of that, but I will have to get with with Lori Shipman tomorrow. There's been no comment coming up to my office about any problems about people not being able to pay online. Mr. Johnson, have you heard of anything on that?
I have not.
Darren,
Okay,
is Mr. Shipman on line? Does he have Mrs.
Oh,
Shipman
yeah,
next to
oh,
him?
Okay.
I know.
Can you hear me?
have problems getting.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, Greg, it's Cliff. We were wondering, there's, Commissioner Mincer may mention that there could be a problem with receiving online water bill payments. Is she aware of any phone calls or any notices coming to her about the inability to receive any payments online?
Hi Cliff, it's Lori.
Yeah, Larry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Very convenient.
It's my understanding that when Kelly downloaded the bills, they did not show up. There was a data pump error with Invoice Cloud, and it was remedied probably within a couple of days of that happening. People were not able to see their water bill amounts that they owed, but as far as I know, everything is fixed now.
Okay, I will let the person know who complained to me and have them try again. In the meantime, I told them to write a check the old-fashioned way and put it in the Dropbox.
Yeah, they can contact me personally if they're having any problems. I'd be happy to follow up with it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank
Hey,
you,
you're
Lori.
welcome.
Thank you, Shipman family.
I just went online and was able to get in, so I know I did have problems one day.
You did, okay.
I was trying to find out something else.
Okay.
But
Are there
no
any
problem right now.
any other questions? You said you had two. Was that two?
That was two.
Okay, sorry. All right. All right, we'll move to the second portion of public participation. This is another opportunity for the public to participate in the meeting. At this time we ask for your full name, your residential address, and we have a 2-minute time limit during this public participation. Again, we'll do in-person first and then our Zoom participants second. Is there anyone from the public who would like to participate at this time?
It's me again, Spencer Calhoun, 235 Cass Avenue, Mount Clemens. I want to apologize because I saw you, Commissioner Goodnow, at the event as well, and I forgot to say that earlier. So thank you for coming as well.
Thank you.
Tell them never do that again.
Is there anyone else from the public who would like to participate? We have somebody on Zoom, it looks like. We'll go ahead.
Good afternoon, good evening, Commission. This is Thomas Barnes, resident of Mount Clemens. My address is 291 Jones Street. The reason why I'm addressing the Commission tonight is because we sat in a meeting a few weeks ago where we discussed benchmarks of how we could become a more diverse and inclusive community. And as we attended the wonderfully well put together Juneteenth celebration at Greater Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church, the only entry point into the event, there was a Macomb County Sheriff's deputy with a canine dog that almost appeared to be guarding the entryway into the Juneteenth celebration. Now, I'm not saying that there was any malicious intent from our Sheriff's Department, but this was a moment of tone deafness in our community when our police officers cannot even recognize historically how police dogs have been used against civil rights protesters, and initially how dogs such as bloodhounds and German shepherds were used in slave patrols to catch runaway slaves. I really want to say, if we're moving towards being a more diverse and inclusive community, moments like this of complete tone deafness from our police department needs to be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Anyone else at this time for public participation? Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to commissioner comments. We'll start with Commissioner Goodenough today.
Well, I did attend the Juneteenth. I wear another hat, the president of the National Council of Negro Women. I was not upset by what I saw, with referencing to what Mr. Barnes said, but very concerned by the fact that there should have been some more discussion about what should have been done as far as addressing the issue with the dog. I don't think it was maliciously done. I just don't think there was a little bit more forethought effort to think about that, because some people might have really not thought about that more in depth. So maybe a little bit more table conversation the next time moving forward for the event might be helpful, I think. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Voorhees.
I would like to thank Chief Shipman for the wonderful work that he did on getting us a grant for some $40,000 to $50,000. And also I'd like to thank the Macomb Daily for finally putting something very positive on the front page of the Macomb Daily. With that, once a Clemite, always a Clemite.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer.
So I concur with Commissioner Voorhees. It was $42,999 that Chief Shipman brought in grants for radios for our men. And if you're aware of Chief Shipman's history at all, he's written grants for a new fire truck, for a new engine. He's written grants for the SCBA equipment. He's written grants for the diesel exhaust system. He has brought more equipment and resources into the fire department by his creative writing skills in grants. And so you know, I concur with Commissioner Voorhees in thanking him for that. Always looking out for the best for our community. So I was unable to attend the Juneteenth celebration because we did a Neighbors Helping Neighbors event in Seminole Hills. We cleared 48 bags of brush and debris, greenery debris and leaves and things like that from a home. And it was a good team and a lot of work. But the outcome was phenomenal, and the gentleman was very, very pleased and very happy. So I congratulate Greater Morning Star on the wonderful event. I've heard nothing but positive comments about it as far as, you know, a community event. It was kind of interesting because I stopped at the farmer's market in the morning early to buy some tomato plants, which, by the way, still has plenty of flowers and greenery. But I ran into Congressman Andy Levin, Clinton Township Trustee Mike Keys, State Representative Bill Sowerby, and they were all there meeting in preparation to leaving for the Juneteenth ceremony. So I thank some of our state representatives for coming to our community. And thank you very much.
Commissioner Campbell?
I just want to say thank you to all those that are involved that will be putting on the fireworks this weekend. I know there's a lot of logistics and a lot of hard work that go into that, so a special thank you to all those.
Commissioner Hammond?
Thank you. Our very own former Commissioner Button was honored at the Juneteenth event as the king, one of the kings of Juneteenth 2021. So I just wanted to make that known to the rest of the commission.
That's awesome.
That's all I have for tonight.
Thanks. Commissioner Fournier?
I too was unable to attend the Juneteenth celebration because I had a funeral, but I heard, as Commissioner Menser mentioned, I've heard great things about it, and I certainly endorse Mr. Bunton as king. I miss him greatly.
Hear, hear.
So, but I hope everyone has a safe July 4th, and I don't know if you're planning to remind everyone about the fireworks rules. I've already heard complaints about the fireworks that are already going off out there, so I hope our residents will adhere to those rules. But everyone have a safe 4th, and please come down to the fireworks. It sounds like we're having good weather, and we should have a very good night.
I would like to also thank Captain Shipman, I'm sorry, Fire Chief Shipman. Chief Shipman for the grant for the radios. We every dollar that is obtained outside of our city budget allows us to do other things with our fire department and within the city, so that helps keep residents safe. So we really appreciate that. Juneteenth, I too was not able to attend. I had a wedding in Chicago, so I am sorry that I missed that celebration because it looked like it was a nice time with a lot of positive things happening. I would like to have a report of why the Macomb County Sheriff was kind of outside of the event, because I don't remember that being anything that was scheduled. And so I'm not sure why that would be, and I'd like to know why that was and why it happened the way it did. So I would request that the city administration get some answers to those questions.
Mayor, if I may, excuse me. My understanding, Ms. Stevens, Ruthie, invited them, but the other stuff that happened, I don't think she, adhered to that. So
I will. And if that's the case, then that'll be fine. But let's let them speak for themselves so that we can get the story right from the sheriff, and we can understand why there may be a perfectly fine explanation for that. We don't want to imply that there's not, but we need answers to those questions. I'd like to thank Neighbors Helping Neighbors. They did a great job within the community, and I'd like to see them continue. That's really awesome. So if anything I can do to support that, that organization, I will continue. I hope they enjoyed pizza.
And I will say this, if I get poison ivy again for this, somebody's gonna be hurt.
I do suggest gloves, Mr. Menser.
I had 'em.
Long sleeves and pants. I'd like to also mention that the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan, who we are in negotiations with for the Carnes Center, they will be conducting an event in July, the week of July 12th, in conjunction with the Detroit Pistons, and it's going to be a week-long opportunity for our youth for a summer program. So that is the week of July 11th, and look for further details that will be released very soon. You'll be able to find those on the city's website and the Boys and Girls Club Southeastern Michigan, all their Facebook page, our Facebook page, all of that good stuff. So look out for those announcements. And again, we really encourage everyone to come down on Friday the 25th, and if we are rained out, it will be Saturday the 26th, and we'll hope and keep our fingers crossed that there's not 2 days of rain. It's not going to rain. And we would like to encourage everyone to enjoy our beautiful fireworks put on by or sponsored by the Joan and Wayne Weber Foundation. And we would also like to mention that those fireworks are by the Zambelli Brothers, which are a nationally renowned company. So international, see, even better. And so they're the professionals. And we highly encourage everyone to leave the fireworks to the professionals. And your veterans and your animals and all of the people that have sensitivities to those types of sounds would really appreciate that. It is also against the law to do fireworks on dates that are not approved by the state of Michigan and the city commission's ordinances. And those are only July 4th, July 5th, the week before Memorial Day, the week of Labor Day. I'm looking to you.
I don't recall if it's a whole week. I thought they were the day before, the
day
day
before?
of, and the day after.
There we go.
I
Even
think that's
better.
what it is.
Even better. So please, if you are so inclined to light fireworks on days that are not mentioned, then it is a $1,000 fine if you are caught putting fireworks. So that's a lot of money, and we don't want to do that. And so please just be respectful of your neighbors and only light fireworks on the approved dates. With that, I will entertain a motion to move into executive session for the reason of collective bargaining.
Motion to move into an executive session for collective bargaining discussion.
Support.
Shelley, the term should be closed session.
Yes.
The word executive session does not appear in the Open Meetings Act. It's a closed session.
All
Mr.
right.
Murray?
That's correct.
Closed session. There we go. Are we okay with modifying the motion for that?
Sure.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
We'll take a 5-minute recess, and then we will move into closed session. Thank you, everybody. I'll entertain a motion for agenda item 14, the collective bargaining agreement.
You have it. Yeah.
I say I don't have it
I move
in
to
order.
approve the proposed July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2024 agreement between the City of Mount Clemens, Michigan and an international union, United Automobile, Aerospace, and Agricultural Implement Workers of America, UAW Local 155, Mount Clemens Community Transportation, and to authorize execution of the same.
Support.
Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Hammond.
Yes.
Crop.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Goodnow.
Yes.
Motion passes, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Support. Everybody supports it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.